Why do I get so depressed when I'm injured? There's definitely a problem with tying up all your self-worth in physical fitness endeavors, and I'm going to sort of try to explain from my own experiences to try to understand why and to try to explain it well. So, first you need to recognize that you are an addict. This isn't a bad thing. You could be doing crack. You're running. It's could be so much worse. But you need to recognize that you're someone who's susceptible to addiction, and you need to be grateful that you discovered this through running, once again, rather than crack. You need to understand that it's a part of you. You need physical movement in order to feel confident and happy, and you need to understand that you do get some level of your self-worth from athleticism, and that's okay as long as it's not making you a worse person. So for myself, discipline has always been difficult, and I ended up being able to be a more disciplined person by riding on a commitment. So the only time I've ever woken up on time has been for school, work, or running. Running would sort of be me building out a schedule and being like, I need to run this on this day and this total for this week. So that kind of keeps me honest, and that has always worked phenomenally for me. Like, I would really very rarely be behind on my running. So channel this and understand it to better understand yourself and to do better. I became way happier when I got into running. It made me feel like I got a purpose outside of my school and friends. It was something that was mine. It was something that I get to learn and I get to do without anyone else telling me what to do. Even though obviously you watch YouTube, you look things up, but it was my journey. And then I kind of always recognized that I was somebody who needed physical fitness. It was just a part of me, and it has always been essential. So it's also important to know that you're not of less value if you didn't get a run in today, if you didn't lift today, if you just felt lazy today, if you felt sad today, that's okay. I haven't even gotten into the injury part just so far, but it's important to know that nobody really gives a fuck if you skipped a day of running or skipped a day of lifting or aren't feeling great. Just listen to yourself, take a rest day, chill out, take a deep breath. I would love to just go back in time and just tell myself as a high schooler, just take a deep breath, man. Like, just chill out. And obviously, I'm 22 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. But I know that I would tell myself to just take a deep breath. Like, just chill. Getting sort of into that injury part, because obviously first sign of things is just kind of recognizing that you're an addict. Like, this is something that I know that is just kind of a part of me, and it's like I can get very hyperfixated on things. Running, awesome thing. But know that when you get injured, it's gonna suck. When you're the running guy, in quotes, like the running guy, you're like, oh, that's Trevor, he ran 50 miles, like in amongst your friends or just among social circles, and then you get hurt and you can't run anymore, you're going to be in the dumps because everyone's going to be asking you how the running is going, because that's the one thing that you always talk about, and then you're going to be really depressed about it. So you need to recognize that you do need this. This is a part of you. You need the running. So you need to not dial it out of control so that you can always be running. I was a victim of sort of being like, let's just keep ramping it up. Let's just go faster. Let's do more. Let's just go crazy with it. It doesn't work out. Like, obviously you need to do some exploration and figure things out. And once again, this is completely personal. Like, I realized that my body doesn't do well with certain distances or certain levels of intensity, so I figured that out. But even then, like, I would still deal with these stress injuries that would really, really just, I would feel like a worse person. I was more impatient. I was ruder. I just really wasn't feeling myself when I would be injured. And I'd be injured for like, I'd get injured, stress injury, should be like a 4 to 6 week thing. 1 week of dealing with it, and I'm like, all right, I feel a decent amount better. I would just start running again and then just re-injure it. Like, total idiotic, like, behavior. And then sort of the idea of like being the running guy or whatever, like, you need to realize, like, don't do this for anyone except yourself. You started running for yourself. You need to re-find that innocent first love you had with running. which was have fun with it, run long distances, but don't get to the point where you feel like you're forced to do it and it's like you're clocking in and out of a job. I never was at that point where I was like the guy who was just always like, yo, I ran the Chicago Marathon, the London Marathon. Like, I was just like not the guy that's like, like the social media stereotype where it's like that one guy who just at your office who won't stop talking about running. Like, I was never that, but I did get a level of confidence in myself for my physical feats that I never previously had. It showed me that I had this mental fortitude that I never really thought I had, and that's important. But also, I wasn't yapping about it. It was just something that I really discovered about myself, and it helped me a lot. Next, this is like a core principle in my life that I really, really can struggle with sometimes. But comparison is the thief of joy. It doesn't matter if ChatGPT or Google says the injury takes 4 weeks. It could be, like, there are a lot of different levels of people. There's Michael Phelps. Then there's a 60-year-old who doesn't work out. There's a 60-year-old who works out. There's a 20-year-old. There's a 14-year-old who will heal in 2 weeks. There's so many different levels to this. You need to figure it out for yourself. You need to learn from your body. You need to learn because you are the only one who knows truly how you feel. Like, it doesn't matter if when someone asks you like, oh, how's it feeling? And you say it's fine, but it really doesn't feel fine and you're really stressed and angry about it. Like, you got to first of all talk about that. But then second of all, understand where you're at and just live in the moment, prepare, do everything correctly, and please don't go back after 2 weeks if it's a bad injury. I have done that so many times, and it sucks. So let's give it 6 weeks of intentional rehab, and imagine how much easier just to come back after 6 weeks. Yes, you're going to lose your fitness. You're going to get less strong if this is at the gym. But imagine if you did only 2 weeks of rehab and then went right back into it, and then you re-injured it and had a 6-month setback. Your fitness is dead after 6 months in this case compared to 6 weeks. You need to channel that fire that you feel and transfer it over to healing, to stretching, to relaxing, to icing and heating, and also just take some deep breaths. Just like relax and understand that everything is going to take time, and it's a part of it. It really is. Next, understand burnout and sort of think of like kind of why you're doing it. When you spend 12 hours a week running and sort of force yourself into progressively overloading and increasing that schedule and just keep going and going and going and not taking a step back, like, it becomes less fun, and it did become less fun. And it's just sort of like I went from enjoying probably 80% of my runs to enjoying like 30%. Weather played a role, definitely. The winter runs suck. But a 22-miler on a Friday and then a freezing 13-miler on Saturday, it destroys your system. And if that's what you're working on, that ultra running, then do it. But if you're doing it with hate, realize that nobody is holding a gun against your head. Like, you gotta just chill out and approach this with fun and approach this with curiosity. Test things out. See what you like, see what you don't like. Just remember that this is supposed to be fun. Like, it's not like you don't have to you don't have to run. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do literally anything in this entire world. For running, in this case, as a thing that is supposed to be fun, you don't have to do it. You get to do it. I like this sort of mindset behind it. Like, it's a reward. Like, it's not a punishment. Like, I get to run a 5 miles today. Like, awesome. Like, I'm grateful. Like, it's fun. It makes me feel good. And then I think really the core of this is understanding why you're doing things. Like I said, you could do whatever you want. Like, the world could end tomorrow. It doesn't, not so many things that you think matter really do not matter. But sort of understanding, like, why are you training to run a 50-mile solo run? Is this because it's the next step in what's supposed to be that sort of ultra running journey? Or is it because you just want to explore a challenge and try something new for yourself? I think for me, my marathon definitely did it with pure intentions and really was just excited about it. Didn't really tell a lot of, didn't post on social media about it. Nobody knew, except obviously like my friends and family and blah, blah, blah. people that I knew would care about it, and I want them to know what's going on in my life because I want to know what's going on in their life. But finished the marathon, went into my first ultra, a 50-kilometer, and I loved it. I loved the training as well. And then I sort of wrapped that up and was like, okay, what's next? And, well, I had a lot of injuries, and it, was rough, and it was kind of on and off, nagging injuries, and by the time I was back up to being healthy again, I just kind of dove into a 50-mile plan just with no real thought behind it, and it ended up kind of just sucking for a lot of it, but I kind of was like, I committed myself to this, I have to do it, which I don't have to do it. Obviously, it was like, I was excited for a challenge, but it was also like, I was really burning myself out, and it was my last semester of school, and I probably should have focused more on just enjoying that it was my last semester than being so focused on this monumental task kind of thing. If basically when people would ask me what kind of how are you feeling about it, I'd be like, I just can't wait to be done about the 50 mile. I enjoyed it that day. It was an awesome challenge, but I was also like, I cannot wait for this to be done. In that case, you got to take a step back and be like, why am I doing this? Nobody's making you. So first 2 races, loved them. But then this last one, it felt kind of forced. I'm glad I still did it. I'm glad I followed through. Don't get me wrong. But understand that. Then sort of understanding, getting back to basics. I was a college student. I had so much time. I could do whatever. I wanted to try it out. I'm glad that I pushed my limits so much on this. But as an adult who has a job, you're not going to be, not you. I am not going to be running 70 miles a week. It's not going to work. Maybe if I was working a job where I had no commute and nothing and I really, really wanted to push myself through running, sure. But 20 miles a week is great. 30 miles a week is great. 10 miles a week is great. The understanding is at my fundamental self, I like to exercise and I like to work out. So understand that I need to sort of maintain and stay healthy and kind of always be able to run if I want to. That's kind of what I've realized I enjoy and what helps me. And basically just answering the question that, at the end of the day, is it bringing you negative, unnecessary stress? It should not be. It should be something that is enjoyable. And I mean, that's the key here. So I'm sort of trying to tackle that question of why you get depressed when you're running. I mean, why do you get depressed when you're injured? It's a part of it. An injury is inevitable in especially something like running. But tying up your self-worth in that is a recipe for disaster. And really just understanding why you're doing things helps so much. Then just to sort of close and kind of encapsulate my experience and kind of what I went through and I'll get into it. So in 18 months, I raced a marathon and then a 33-mile race and then a solo 50-miler. I dealt with at least 3 major stress injuries, each leading to me barely being able to walk. So many self-inflicted setbacks from going back too early, hundreds of early mornings, a lot of them that I really didn't want to do. Mental fatigue in the classroom with my friends due to overexertion, feeling irritable due to injury, irritable due to overexertion, so much puking, wanting to cry, fighting this hypothermia, then catching a runner's high and sprinting for 8 miles, but then shitting in every public bathroom that exists, and literally just all of that and every little bit in between. But I genuinely learned more about myself from running than anything else that I've ever done. So I truly hope this helps, and I truly hope this answers that sort of question at all. Because once again, I am 22 years old. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I am still figuring everything out. But I understand that we could all die tomorrow. And I really just wish I could go back and tell myself, relax. And I think it's something that I'm definitely working on, always. But yeah, just at the end of the day, we could die tomorrow. That's sort of the principle of this show and this series and all that. So don't stress yourself out too much. That's what I'll leave you with. Thank you so much for listening.